everybody, Aaron J. Anderson here with the part 2 of the Panasonic G9 series, and we're going to talk about the most exciting part about cameras, and that is batteries. Not really, kind of boring, but batteries is something you really actually need to know, because you want to know how many batteries do I need to get me through a photo shoot or through a wedding or through a day of filming. It's kind of good to know that. So I did some tests to see how long the battery in the G9 lasts, and here's how it went. So the Panasonic G9 uses the same BLF19 that's found in the GH3, the GH4, and the GH5. If you got those batteries, they will work in the G9. The G9 comes with a USB battery charger, which is really cool because you could charge the battery by plugging it in, the charger into the wall. You can also use the same cable that plugs into the little, I don't know what you call that, the transformer plug-in USB brick, I don't know what you call those, and the charger. It's like a middle piece. And someone on my YouTube channel left me a comment on my last video, because on my last video I said it's nice to carry around a USB 3.0 cable, which you can find for like hard drives and stuff like that, and use it to charge. But this gentleman told me that you can actually use those standard cables that you use for Android phones and other devices out there, and you actually can plug it in half of a USB 3.0 plug. So if you see the USB 3.0 plug, it kind of looks like an S or something. Well, one of those halves that will fit directly into. So it's really convenient, even more convenient than I thought. So it's really cool. You can find those anywhere, so that's a plus. So thank you for leaving that comment, and that makes it really great for traveling. If you don't want to travel around with the battery charger because you're like really conserving space, then take any Android compatible cable and charge your battery in your camera. It's pretty amazing. You can power it with an external battery brick. You can power your camera through plugging it into a wall, and while plugging it in, you can use the camera in video. You can use it in photography. It's great for people who shoot in cold weather where the batteries don't last that long. You could keep a external battery pack, or whatever you want to call it, like inside your inner coat, and just have a wire coming down your sleeve or through your buttons or whatever, and powering your camera that way. You get a lot longer life because of the battery being in your jacket, being warm. So that's another really plus about this camera. Now this battery has a CIPA rating of 400 shots. Now that depends on what monitor you're using. If you're using the EVF or the LCD on one full battery charge. Now that's slightly above the average mirrorless camera, which is really cool. And in comparison, the GH5, I believe you get 410 shots on one charge. So that's only 10 more photos compared to the G9, so that's really close. Now the GH4 was really known for its long battery life, and that got 530 shots from a single charge. Now that's that's 100 plus more shots on the GH4. We only have 400 in this, and so far I'm liking the battery power that I'm getting. And just to put this in perspective, a Nikon D750, which is a DSLR, that got on one battery charge 1,230 shots. So you could see how much longer a battery will last on a DSLR than it is on the Panasonic G9 or the GH4, GH5, as I pointed out. So if battery life really is your thing, a DSLR is pretty good. However, the G9 has a battery save option that it's EVF only, so you turn the LCD around it and tuck it away and use the EVF only. And at every chance it gets, it'll power the camera down, and you can set that at 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, maybe up to 10 seconds. I set mine at 3 seconds, so when I pull my eye away from the viewfinder, in 3 seconds the whole camera powers down. And I found 3 seconds being the best because 1 second was just too quick. If I'm at a wedding and I'm shooting like this, and 1 second isn't too bad, but 1 second it could shut off at the wrong moment, and it takes a fraction of a second to come back on, but it's that fraction you don't want to play with. Also, if you want to get like a headshot or a low shot, a high shot or a low shot, and you pull out the screen, when you're trying to compose, it can shut down. So I find 3 seconds is long enough for me to turn the screen around, put it above my head, and while I'm working my hand up, I'm touching the focus button just to keep it active, you know, or when I go down, I'm keeping it active that way. And that seems to work really good. So 3 seconds. Now, when you put it in that mode, you get a whopping 900 photos on one charge. Now that's pretty good. Figuring that the Panasonic was 400 with that really good battery, and the GH5, I don't know if that has the same option or not at that battery save. It may, but we're getting closer to a DSLR with that, so it's a pretty cool feature to have. 900 shots, that's the way I set it up, and it works great. So when it comes to photography, I find one battery will completely last me like all day. It really will. It'll last me through a whole wedding. Now, when you think of 900 shots, you're like, 900 shots isn't that much, but typically I'll get maybe, 1,200 shots? I'm just kind of guessing. They're about 1,200 shots in a day, so I don't know where that CIPA rating comes from or whatever, but for photography, it'll last me all day. And what I usually do is photography, I'll have at least 2 batteries, one in the camera and one in my bag, just in case one of my batteries completely deadlines and like completely dies, then I have the backup. Or if I just got crazy that day and there's just a lot of stuff going on and I do a lot of photos, then I always have that backup. So that's how I run with usually 2 batteries for photography. Now when it comes to video, which is really important, which by the way, the video on this camera is amazing. It's the best video quality, only shy of the GH5 at its higher bit rates, which you need special cards and you need big cards and everything for the GH5. But as far as video quality, it's amazing, and we'll do another video on that. But the battery life in this now it depends on what settings you have, because you have a 4K 60p mode, which actually shoots at 150 megabits per second. And then you have 30p and 24p, which shoot at 100 megabits per second. And the 4K 60p actually does a better audio codec, whereas the other ones use a compressed audio codec. So you might vary in battery. So what I did to do the test, I set it at 4K at 24p, only because I know a lot of people like to try to get that film look, which gives you the same motion blur as film, which typically they use 24p. So I set it at 4K 24p. So I just set it up on a tripod and I press record, and in 4K and 24p mode, you get 30-minute record time. After that 30 minutes was up, I just pressed record again, and I kept doing that until the batteries ran out. And I got 2 hours and 17 minutes of, straight recording time. So 2 hours and 17 minutes isn't that bad, actually. When you think about it, when you go to a set to do, let's say, film a commercial or something, most of those hours you might be working 8 hours, but a lot of those hours you're setting things up and readjusting stuff, getting lighting ready and all that stuff. It's not like you're going to be filming for 2 hours and 17 minutes. Now you may on certain projects, so it's best to have at least 3 batteries with you. I think that will do you, most people, for an average video shoot just fine. So all in all, I think it has good battery life. So anyways, please leave some comments, give me some thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. And there's that little bell that you can tick, and when you do that, you get notified when I bring up another part in the series. So talk to you guys later, and see ya. Everybody, I forgot to point out one thing in the video, and that is the battery indicator. I wish they would just put the percentage on the screen so we know, kind of like a cell phone. It would help out a lot knowing how much you got left battery power remaining. But in this diagram here, the one on the left is actually showing you like the LCD screen, and this is what you'll see in the viewfinder or on the back screen. And the one on the right is representative of the new display panel on top of the camera. And when you have completely full, you got what do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 little bars, I guess you would say it. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you see this, it's 75% or higher. And when you see 1 bar go away here, or I guess we could say when you have 3 bars, it's 74 to 50%. And when you have 2 bars, it's 49 to 25%. And when you have 1 bar left, it's 24 or below. And when you're recording something, let's say you're doing video, when you get down to like 1 little bar, when that bar disappears, the camera just doesn't
power off, you get a little bit of a buffer zone. So when this one bar disappears, you're going to get these blinking icons, and the one on the LCD will blink red, and the one in the panel here in the LCD panel will just blink. And you got about I don't know, I think I recorded it about a minute and a half or so before the camera dies. So you can be sure that if you're monitoring your display while you're doing an interview or whatever, and you happen to have one bar left and you really want to squeeze out the, maybe this is your last battery remaining, well, you can record. Once you see that disappear, it goes into here, and then you have a minute to finish up the whatever you're recording. So just wanted to point that out.